Want to turn your life upside down? Then this is definitely one of those books to turn your life upside down. Salute bibliophiles! Welcome back to another episode of myView on Books. I'm MaddiE Austin, you're watching MWM, and in today's episode, we're going to review Atomic Habits. Alrighty, so this is definitely one of those books that would change your life. It's a self-help book written by James Clear, and as the name goes, it's about habits. So what is habit? What are the processes involved in a habit? How can you develop good habits, and how can you avoid negative habits, bad habits? So he's proposed one technique, and he's using the same technique to advocate developing good habits, and use the same technique to avoid bad habits and eliminate them. So that's what I liked about it. It's one of the major highlights, and I picked up a lot of good things from this book, and I wanted to do a review of this book very desperately. And so basically he has given around 5 chapters, and he has defined his own terms and terminologies for describing what is habit and what are the processes involved. So he says that there is 4 laws in a habit. In order to develop good habits, you need to have 4 laws. And the first law is make it obvious. So make sure it is it's not something unrelated to you. You have to relate to your habit. So if you're doing something, it should be meaningful to you, and you should have a purpose to do that, right? So I may be an athlete, but I don't have, let me say I'm an athlete who's a runner, and there's no point in me to go to swimming classes. So it's completely unrelated. You can do it for a hobby, but I'm just saying. So the second law is make it attractive, so that you tend to get attracted to it and do it again and again. So this is very important law. Each and every habit may not be attractive, especially fitness habits. So those are really you have to have a lot of willpower. So he's saying that you should try to make it attractive, and there's a lot of things to do to make the habit attractive. So when you are trying to pick up a habit where you want to eat healthy fruits and vegetables, so if you keep it inside fridge, you may not see them daily or frequently. But if you keep it outside at a place where you see often, let's say kitchen, you're entering kitchen, the first thing you see is an apple or a banana, you tend to pick it up and eat. So it's like you are designing your own life, and you're making sure the environment is designed in such a way that you tend to follow only the good habits and not follow any negative habits. So this is one of the techniques and law as well, make it attractive. And the third law is make it easy. So you shouldn't pick up a habit which is difficult. Straight away you start. So let's say you want to start running, and straight away the first day your goal is to run for 10 kilometers. That's a completely not practical. So you should have let's run 500 meters or 1 kilometer trek, and increase it gradually. So it should be easy and achievable. It should not be very difficult to achieve, and then you tend to lose a habit. So this is also a critical law. And the fourth and final law is make it satisfying. So when you do something, you should get the satisfaction. So if you do something and if you're not satisfied with it, then definitely you will not come back to it, right? So let's say how movies are getting huge box office reports. So people tend to watch it again and again because they like it. So if you don't like it, you will not watch the movie again. So it's the same thing applies here. If you are doing some habit, some outcomes, those outcomes should be satisfying to you. So this I've told you the cardinal aspect of the book. So he's building the whole book, and he's trying to convey his concept through these 4 laws. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. And throughout the book is mentioned a lot of case studies. His own life is a case study. He starts with his own life, how he had met with an accident, and through willpower and small habits, he turned his life over. And there is another concept in this book which I liked really well. So you shouldn't try to achieve a huge leap. So you can achieve small percentages of improvement day by day or gradually. So let's say you can try to achieve 1% improvement in everything you do on a weekly basis or monthly basis. So I have picked up this thing very seriously. So every movie of me, the big picture I take, I want to have 1% improvement from each of my movies. So if I look at my previous movies and if I look at my movie that I'm making now, it should, in some way, it should have that 1% improvement, and I'm sure that I'm following that. So that is one thing. And there is another concept which I wanted to tell you guys. Yeah, the habit loop. So he has a concept called habit loops, how the habit takes process. So it starts with a cue, craving, and we get a response and reward. So you should have a cue, like when I say, when you enter the kitchen and you see a banana or a apple, that's your cue. Okay, you see it and you want to have it. You desperately want to have vegetables and fruits, but you end up eating more chocolates. And if you try to keep the chocolates away, and if you try to keep the vegetables and fruits in a place where you see, you'll definitely tend to pick up the vegetables and fruits more than the chocolate. So the cue should be there. Your environment should be designed in a way that you pick up the good habits and avoid and eliminate the other habits. And the craving, you should crave for it. So you should make it attractive. That's what he says. You should make it attractive so that you crave for that habit. You do it again and again, and then respond. So you get some response, right? So basically, that should be very likable for you, and it should be encouraging and motivating. And finally, reward. So reward is what makes you do it further. So it should be convincing. So cue, craving, response, and reward. So this is another concept I liked really well, because I was able to relate. Definitely we pick up a lot of habits, but we tend to not follow up with them, especially New Year resolutions. I've seen people take a lot of resolutions, they follow it for 1 month or 2 months, and then they let it go. So that's because it's after a point of time you tend to get bored, or it's not attractive anymore. So make sure you are doing it gradually, attractive, make sure it's attractive, and you get the proper rewards, and make sure that you are relating to a habit. So there is one quote in this book which I liked really well. You should not be the type of person who wants something. So you should be the type of person who is something. So when you say that I go for swimming, so I should say it in a way that I like to. It's not like I like to swim. It's like I am a swimmer. So you are already doing that habit. It's not like you want to do that habit. You're already a swimmer. So you should be that identity. You should chase that identity, and you should definitely have a purpose and motive to follow with any habit. And yeah, this is one of those books that will go down to my life-changing books shelf. And I have a lot of books there, so believe me. So this, to get into that shelf is really hard. So this has easily got into that shelf. So definitely it's a must read for any book lovers or people who are beginning with books. So it's not boring. Each and every page will be mind-blowing, and the data that you get in and you relate with your life definitely will be relatable to any reader who is reading this book. And yeah, it's a must read for any book lovers. And I personally recommend this book. Purchase a soft, go for a paperback, read it with your hands, feel it and read it. Make sure you keep it in a place where you see it often, and remember the things that you've learned from this book. And I hope you enjoy this episode on my view on books. We'll catch up in a different episode on a different book with a different book. Until then, it's MaddiE Dawson.